Hey guys, tonight we're landing in Malaysia. Humid, humming, and slightly overwhelming from the second the airplane doors open. The heat punches you gently in the face, like a tropical welcome hug you didn't ask for. The air smells faintly of pandan, jet fuel, and anticipation. You shuffle off the plane into Kuala Lumpur International Airport, blinking under fluorescent lights, wondering if your armpits have always been this enthusiastic. You probably won't survive this if you packed jeans and forgot deodorant, by the way. Immigration lines crawl, but the officers are polite if expressionless. A few stamps, a fingerprint scan, and you're officially in. You blink again, now surrounded by signs in Malay, Mandarin, Tamil, and English. And people, lots of them. You'll hear 4 languages within the first 5 minutes. And maybe 3 different ways of saying excuse me. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, drop your current location and what time it is for you down in the comments. Now dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You drag your suitcase across shining tiles, make eye contact with a sleepy security guard, and head toward the nearest ATM. Your phone buzzes. Grab works here, Wi-Fi works here. And somewhere between the airport toilets and the first sight of a Petronas Tower souvenir, you realize you're not quite in Southeast Asia as you imagined it. Malaysia greets you with a grin and a raised eyebrow. Let's see how much you really know, it seems to say. And so, with sweat on your back and wonder in your step, your Malaysian journey quietly begins. You stare at the ATM screen, wondering if withdrawing 500 feels outrageous or just necessary. Then you realize it's ringgit, not dollars. You're about to be rich, in theory. The Malaysian ringgit, with its colorful bills and smooth, plasticky texture, is surprisingly cheerful. You tug out a stack and feel like a Bond villain casually carrying hundreds. Spoiler: it'll last you 3 bubble teas, a taxi ride, and a questionable souvenir shaped like a pineapple. Each note shows the regal face of Tuanku Abdul Rahman, Malaysia's first king. The 50 ringgit bill has a shimmery security strip that makes you feel very cool while paying for noodles. But here's the trick: don't get cocky. Most places only accept cash, and no one wants to break your enormous blue bill for a 3 ringgit roti canai. Historians still argue whether the term ringgit, which literally means jagged in Malay, came from the sharp Spanish silver coins used during colonial trade. Either way, the name stuck. And so did the love for nicknames. Locals casually call it RM or Ringgit, as if trying to make currency sound fun. A quirky fact? In small towns, some warung stalls still use paper IOUs. That's right. Trust-based economics in the 21st century. Imagine getting lunch and just promising to pay later. Also, keep your receipts at big malls. They sometimes scan them at the exit like you're smuggling microchips. Now that your wallet's thick with ringgit and lighter on logic, you spot a money exchange booth. Don't bother unless you enjoy bad rates and grumpy tellers. Stick to reputable ATMs. Or, better yet, use contactless payments where accepted. Just double-check that your card doesn't scream and lock itself when you spend RM 200 at a 7-Eleven. With money in hand and mild confusion on your face, you're ready to dive into the real business, eating like it's your job. It starts with a smell. Sweet, smoky, and just a little bit fermented. You follow your nose past blinking signs and plastic chairs until you land in a hawker center where the air is alive with sizzling woks and clinking spoons. Congratulations! You've entered Malaysian food culture. Abandon your diet now. You won't make it. Rows of stalls sell everything from nasi lemak wrapped in banana leaves to fiery laksa soups that threaten both your tongue and your dignity. A kind auntie hands you satay skewers dripping with peanut sauce, while someone behind you yells, "Tatarik, satu." Malaysia's famous pulled milk tea, sweet enough to revive the dead. You're not imagining things. This place is wild. Malaysia is a melting pot of Malay, Chinese, and Indian cuisines. That roti you're devouring with curry? Indian roots. The chili crab on the next table? Chinese style. The nasi caribou with blue rice? purely Kelantanese Malay magic. Historians still argue whether Malaysia's culinary dominance is thanks to spice trade routes or sheer communal stubbornness. Probably both. But beware. That innocent green jelly in your dessert? It's called sendal, and it tastes like a coconut party in your mouth until the fermented palm sugar hits. You either love it or politely hide your grimace and chew through the regret. And here's a quirky tidbit. Some locals eat everything with just their right hand. No cutlery. No shame. You try it once and realize you've wildly overestimated your dexterity and underestimated how rice behaves on fingers. One golden rule? Never refuse food that's offered. It's rude. Even if you're full, accept it with a smile. Take a bite, then subtly fake a second stomach. By now, your shirt's stained, your lips are tingling, and your stomach hums like a satisfied engine. You don't know what half of it was, but you'd do it again tomorrow. You wobble slightly as the train lurches forward, standing shoulder to shoulder with sleepy commuters and a child chewing a suspiciously blue candy. Welcome aboard the Malaysian public transport experience. Part efficient marvel, part unexpected cardio workout. You are going to walk, but then the heat hit you like a wet oven mitt, so now here you are, gripping a steel pole and trying not to fall into someone's nasi lemak. Kuala Lumpur's LRT system is sleek, air-conditioned, and mostly on time, emphasis on mostly. You tap your touch-and-go card like a local, pretending you totally understand the color-coded line map. But you don't. None of us do. You board confidently, only to realize 3 stops later that you're headed toward Ampang when you meant to go to Bangsar. It's fine. You'll just loop around. Eventually, historians still argue whether KL's complex train systems were designed for logic or as a mild hazing ritual for newcomers. Either way, you'll get used to it. Probably. When in doubt, just grab. No, not grab someone. Grab with a capital G, Malaysia's ride-hailing app of choice. It's like Uber, but better, with drivers who hand you candy and give life advice unsolicited. It's absurdly cheap, even at midnight, and somehow every driver seems to have a playlist titled Slow R&B Hits of 2004. Quirky fact. In Penang, you can hop onto free heritage buses that loop around colonial streets and feel like time travel, if time travel had questionable suspension and the smell of durian. Also, a warning. Don't rely too heavily on walking. Sidewalks here sometimes end in a drain, a parked scooter, or existential confusion. Crosswalks are suggestions. So look both ways. Then look again. Then run. Eventually, you'll find your rhythm, whether it's on a train, a motorbike, or an air-conditioned grab with a driver who tells you all about his cat. You find yourself in front of a grand mosque, elegant domes, soft chants from within, and a sea of shoes neatly lined up outside like an organized footwear cult. You pause. Do you go in? Yes, but not like that. Welcome to Malaysia's deep respect for religion and the social minefield of dressing right and behaving better. Step 1. Shoes off. Always. Temples, mosques, sometimes even someone's living room. If there's a shoe pile, join it. If there's not, check again. You might just be the uncultured barbarian stomping mud into the sacred. You tug your sleeves down, grateful you brought that light scarf. At many religious sites, especially mosques like Masjid Negara in KL, modest dress is enforced. Women might be given a robe with a hood, which makes you look like a Jedi nun, but stylish somehow. Men, too, need long pants. No tank tops unless you want a disapproving look and maybe a stern finger wag. Historians still argue whether Malaysia's religious tolerance stems more from colonial necessity or centuries of cultural interweaving. Either way, Islam is the official religion, but Buddhist temples, Hindu shrines, and Christian churches share street corners like an awkward but functional group project. A quirky tidbit? At some Hindu temples, coconuts are ceremonially smashed to banish bad luck. You'll see cracked shells littering the ground like fruity landmines. And here's something you didn't expect. In some rural areas, there are loudspeaker announcements reminding people of prayer times, upcoming weddings, or when the mobile fishmonger is nearby. It's like a holy PA system, with special deals on mackerel. The key is this: watch what locals do and mimic gently. Lower your voice, smile often, and don't take selfies in front of altars unless you want to be internet shamed by someone's grandma. Respect is the currency here, And the dress code is its receipt. You blink up at the sun, drenched in SPF and optimism. It's beach day, or so you thought. 5 minutes in, you're sweatier than a durian in a sauna, and your perfectly planned hike now feels like a heroic act of self-sabotage. Welcome to Malaysia's climate, eternal summer with bonus plot twists. It's hot, always, and humid. The kind that makes your clothes cling to you like needier versions of themselves. You check the weather app. It says 32 degrees Celsius, but feels like 42. That's not a forecast. It's a dare. Bring sunscreen, a hat, and a small towel if you want to pretend you're handling this with grace. But here's the twist. Rain, not drizzle. Tropical, biblical, I hope you have a roof rain. The kind that starts with one lazy drop, then turns into a sideways waterfall. Umbrellas are useful, but ponchos are king. Bonus points if yours is transparent and dramatic. Historians still argue whether the monsoon cycles shaped trade routes more than they shaped people's personalities. Spoiler. Probably both. East Coast beaches like Redang and Perhentian shut down during monsoon season, November to March, while the West Coast stays sunny and smug. So plan accordingly, or gamble and hope your snorkel also works on land. A quirky note? Some locals swear by heat-lowering herbal drinks sold in little plastic bags with straws, like childhood nostalgia mixed with bitter grass water. You try one. It tastes like regret and basil. You smile politely. Don't forget bug spray either. Mosquitoes in Malaysia are sneaky, silent, and sometimes carry dengue. You won't hear them, but they will find your ankles every time you forget to reapply. Eventually, you accept it. Malaysia doesn't do chill weather. It does glorious sunburns, cinematic storms, and air so dense it feels like soup. But once you learn to move slowly, nap often, and always carry a rain plan, the climate becomes less of a threat and more of a rhythm. You're squinting at a sign that reads, "Mi rebus power hila," followed by 6 emojis, none of which clarify anything. Welcome to Malaysia's language kaleidoscope, where English, Malay, Chinese dialects, Tamil, and emoji-based enthusiasm collide daily. The good news? You'll survive with English. It's widely spoken, especially in cities, malls, and tourist spots. The bad news? English here wears a new outfit. It's called Manglish. A chaotic but lovable mix of English and Malay, and sometimes Chinese. It sounds like can or not. So expensive, la, or why like that one? Confused? You will be, but just nod and smile. Want to impress? Try a little Bahasa Malaysia. Start with terima kasih, thank you, or satu teh tarik kurang manis. 1 milk tea, less sugar. The second phrase alone might save your pancreas. Historians still argue whether Malay's resilience as a lingua franca was due to colonial adaptation or its natural musicality. Either way, its survival across centuries of British, Dutch, and Portuguese meddling is a linguistic flex. A quirky fact? Road signs in Penang are often bilingual, Malay and Armenian. Yes, really. The Armenians left a small footprint, but apparently a permanent place on the signage committee. Now, if someone calls you boss auntie or leng zai, handsome boy, don't panic. It's normal. In Malaysia, terms of address are more fluid than traffic rules. You might be a bro, missy, or even uncle, depending on the speaker's vibe and your apparent age. Accept it with grace. Even if being called auntie at 28 stings a little, just avoid politics, religion, and race in casual chat. These are sensitive topics wrapped in centuries of complex history. Ask about food instead. Or traffic. Everyone has opinions on traffic. Eventually, you'll find that communication here isn't just about grammar. It's tone, warmth, and knowing when can really means maybe, but probably not. You're in line at a 7-Eleven, marveling at the wall of instant noodles when someone cuts in front of you with the smooth confidence of a street magician. Do you say something? Probably not. Welcome to Malaysia's mysterious code of social conduct, where patience is prized and confrontation is frowned upon. First thing you notice, people are chill. Not lazy, just non-confrontational. Someone bumps into you. A small nod or sheepish smile is your apology. Want to complain? Keep it low-key, or risk becoming that loud foreigner in someone's TikTok rant. But beneath that calm exterior lies a deeply layered etiquette system. Elders are respected. You might notice younger folks using both hands to pass things to someone older, a gesture of deference. Try it. You'll feel elegant and oddly regal. Historians still argue whether Malaysia's respectful social codes emerged from Confucian, Islamic, or Hindu roots. Most agree it's a hybrid, like cultural nasi lemak. And no, cutting lines isn't technically okay, but many people won't call it out unless they're in a really bad mood or really hungry. Quirky fact: if you're offered a gift or food, you should decline once or twice before accepting. It's not indecisiveness, it's humility theater. Everyone plays this game. It's adorable. And mildly confusing. Now, body language matters too. Don't point with your forefinger. Use your thumb or your whole hand like a polite magician. Never touch someone's head. It's considered sacred in many Southeast Asian cultures. And don't stick your feet towards someone while sitting. Feet are lowly, rude. Basically, foot shaming is alive and well. If you're invited to a Malaysian home, bring a small gift and take off your shoes. Compliment the food, even if it's too spicy and you're crying silently into your rendang. Social success in Malaysia isn't about being perfect. It's about being quietly thoughtful, a little adaptable, and never too loud, unless you're singing karaoke. You're sitting cross-legged on a plastic stool so low it makes your knees feel judged. In front of you, a steaming bowl of char kway teow, glistening with wok hei magic. Around you, the rhythmic clang of ladles, the hiss of oil, and the ever-present scent of garlic flirting with soy. This is Malaysia's real dining room, the hawker center. Forget fancy restaurants. This is where the soul of Malaysian cuisine lives, thrives, and gently clogs your arteries. You scan the stalls, overwhelmed by choice. Nasi kandar, satay, laksa, roti canai, cendol. Each dish, a collision of culture. Malay spices, Chinese technique, Indian flair, all coexisting peacefully on one plastic tray. Historians still argue whether Malaysian street food evolved from necessity or artistry. Probably both. Immigrants from across Asia brought their flavors here, and over time, it all melted into a uniquely Malaysian stew. Sometimes literally. Here's your quirky tidbit. Some stalls have been manned by the same families for generations. In Penang, you might eat char kway teow fried by a third-generation hawker using the same wok his grandmother used, seasoned with smoke, thyme, and a touch of grandparent magic. But there are rules. Don't just sit at any table. It may belong to a specific stall. Order a drink to claim your seat. Speaking of drinks, expect sugar. Malaysian tea and coffee often come terikkad, pulled into a frothy spectacle, and laced with enough condensed milk to legally qualify as dessert. Want it less sweet? Say kurang manis and brace for it to still taste like a glucose hug. Also, keep tissues handy. Napkins are rare and chili is everywhere. You'll cry, but happily. Slurp, burp, quietly, and don't be afraid to eat with your hands. Just use your right one. Left is for, well, other business. In the end, hawker food isn't just sustenance. It's storytelling with sambal, history in a bite, and possibly the reason you'll need stretchy pants by week 2. You board a bus bound for the Cameron Highlands, wedged between a grandma with a fruit basket and a backpacker who smells like incense and decisions. The road begins to wind, slowly, then suddenly like it's trying to throw you off. Welcome to Malaysian transportation, where the journey is often as spicy as the destination. Let's talk options. In cities, you've got Grab, Malaysia's version of Uber, only nicer, and sometimes cheaper than a bottled water in your hotel minibar. It's a lifesaver when you're melting on a Kuala Lumpur sidewalk and pretending to understand the train map. Speaking of trains, the MRT and LRT systems in KL are clean, efficient, and blessedly air-conditioned. Just avoid rush hour unless you enjoy being flattened politely by 200 strangers. Buses between cities are comfortable, reasonably priced, and always playing music at a volume that suggests the driver is also DJing a wedding. You'll get used to it. Sort of. Historians still argue whether British colonial rail planning helped unify the Malaysian peninsula or just gave future commuters something to complain about. Either way, the tracks remain narrow, scenic, occasionally interrupted by monkeys, a quirky reality. There's an overnight train called the Express Rakyat Timuran that rattles from Johor Bahru to Tumpat, near the Thai border. It's part adventure, part lullaby, part existential test of your bladder. Taxis exist, but make sure they use the meter, or agree on a price first. If the driver says the meter is broken, smile sweetly and back away like you've just spotted a raccoon in a suit. Domestic flights are also cheap and fast. In fact, AirAsia basically built its empire on the fact that Malaysia is gorgeous but geographically annoying to navigate. Want to go from Kuala Lumpur to Sabah? Fly. Just do it. You'll quickly learn that moving around Malaysia isn't hard. It's just delightfully unpredictable. Like that goat that blocked your bus in Langkawi for 20 minutes. No one was mad. The goat had rights, too. You lean back now, body tired in that sweet golden way. The day has been full. Tropical heat, noisy laughter, taste you can't describe but won't forget. The road hums beneath you, a soft purring lullaby, while palm trees drift past like sleepy green giants waving goodnight. Somewhere, a muezzin calls evening prayer, his voice rising and falling like warm mist in the dusk. A gecko chirps. The air cools. The frenzy of markets fades into memory, replaced by the gentle hush of a coastal breeze or the rustle of rainforest leaves at night. You're no longer watching Malaysia. You're breathing it in. You think about the kindness of strangers, the quiet nods, the smell of pandan, the shock of rain, the calm after. You remember the jolt of spice on your tongue, the smile of the man who served it, and the sound of motorbikes buzzing past like metallic bees. The country wraps around you, not perfectly, but sincerely. It's okay that you didn't learn every rule. You adapted. You listened. You smiled, sometimes with chili in your teeth. Malaysia didn't ask you to master it, just to respect it, wander through it, and maybe return. So rest easy now. Let your breath slow with the waves. Let your thoughts soften like condensed milk and tea. And when morning comes again, you'll be ready. Maybe not for everything, but enough.